You came to Italy once. Maybe it was the light, maybe the food, maybe because life here moves differently, but something stay with you. That idea, what if I could actually live here? In this video, I will show you exactly how you can become an Italian citizen. I'm Jacopo, and on this channel I talk about Italian real estate in plain English. You could ask yourself why you are talking about touristic visa, citizenship or residency in Italy if you work in real estate. Well, my job is to help foreign buyers and investors buy and manage their property in Italy. And every day I receive questions about visiting Italy and how you can become an Italian citizen. So I decided to make this full guide for my clients, but also make it available for everybody on the web. So we will start from the very basic stuff. If you want just to visit Italy, you have three main ways to enter the country. The first one, if you are from European Union or Switzerland, you can just enter the country and that's it. You don't need any visa, you just go in and you can stay as long as you want because you are part of European Economic Union. You can live, work or study in Italy with no problem. And if you decide to live in Italy permanently, you can register your official residency in Italy. You can do that in the municipality. The second way, if you are from a non-EU country, but your country is part of the Schengen visa waiver program, you can access the country. You just need a stamp on your passport, which is, let's say, a touristic visa, and you can stay in Italy for 90 days within a 180-day period. After these 90 months, you should leave not only Italy, but the Schengen area. With this kind of visa, you cannot work in Italy and you cannot prolong your staying in Italy. So after 90 days, you have to leave. If you live in a non-EU country and you are not in the waiver program of the Schengen area, then you need a touristic visa. You can apply at the Italian embassy or consulate in your country and the rules are more or less the same. Once you obtain the visa, you can stay in Italy for 90 days every 180 days. To get this touristic visa, you need the proof of funds, an insurance, a ticket to go back to your country, a valid passport and an accommodation. Anyway, I have a really quick and useful tip for you, which is to visit this website. I will leave it also in the description because there you can select your country, select how long you want to stay in Italy, and the website will automatically tell you what you have to do. But if you want to stay in Italy for more than 90 days, then you need to apply for a permission to stay. You are moving from being a visitor, a tourist, to being a resident. If you are a EU citizen, you have no problem. You just go to the municipality and you register your residency in the municipality and you can stay as long as you want. You just need to show your passport and your proof of accommodation. So you have to show that you have a property where you are staying. It can be a property that you bought or a property that you rent. And at this point, you have mainly the same services that an Italian citizen can have in Italy, except that you cannot vote. If you are a non-EU citizen, you need a long stay visa and then a residency permit. You can apply for long-term visa just in some specific cases. The first one is the work visa. So you are employed by an Italian company based in Italy and you need to live in Italy to work. And this is usually valid up to 2 years and you can renew it as long as you need if you still have a job in Italy. Then you have the self-employment visa. This is for freelancer or entrepreneur that want to work from Italy and want to establish their business in Italy. And in this case, you have to prove that you have enough income to live in Italy. The third type of visa is the family reunification visa. So let's say you have a close relative that lives in Italy. You can move to Italy, have a long stay visa because you want to live with this relative. And the duration of this visa usually match the sponsor permit. So let's say that you want to join your wife or your husband and he or she have 2 years permission to stay in Italy, your visa will match that duration. Then you have the study visa. So if you want to study in Italy, you can do that. You just need to ask for a study visa and you just need to show that you have income or enough funds to live in Italy for the duration of the visa. With this type of visa, you can also work in Italy. You can work for a maximum of 20 hours per week. Then you have the elective residence visa. This is the case if you don't want to work or study, or you have no family in Italy, you just want to live here. You can do that, but you have to apply for this type of visa. And in this case, you have to prove that you have enough passive income that can allow you to live in Italy without work. Also, you need to apply for health insurance or to pay the public health system in Italy. But the next one is really interesting. It's the nomad visa that was introduced in 2024. It is specifically created for nomad workers. You can be employed in a company and work remotely, or you can also be a self-employed remote worker. You need to have a health insurance, proof of accommodation, and finally you need a clean criminal record. And then you have the golden visa, which is called investor visa, and it grants residency to non-EU residents that invest in the Italian economy. You can choose one of this type of investment: 2 million euros in a government bond, 500,000 invested in a private liability company, or 250,000 invested in a startup, or 1 million of donation. You have to apply through this link, I will leave it in the description, and you get a nulla osta valid for 6 months. Once you enter the country, you have 8 days to apply for the investor visa. After that, you need to complete the investment within 3 months. And then if the investment is still active, you can stay in Italy for 2 years, and you can also renew for additional 3 years, so for a total of 5 years. In any of this case, once you have the visa and enter the country, you have to apply for the permission to stay within 8 days from your arrival. But let's talk about buying a property in Italy. What does it grant and not grant? First of all, owning a property in Italy doesn't automatically allow you to live permanently in Italy. That's because Italy has no property visa. However, you can buy a property in Italy even as a tourist. You don't need to have a permission to stay. You don't need to get a permanent visa. You can buy also with a touristic visa. And this is actually what most of my clients do. Also, as you heard before, owning a property in Italy makes the process to get the permission to stay a long period of time easier. There is a specific case where buying a property in Italy also allows you to permanently live in Italy. You can do that using the investor visa, buying a property through a company. Also, buying a property in Italy through a company, it's a really smart view from a fiscal point of view, and I talk about this in another video that you find here. We saw that for most of the visa, you can renew it until 5 years. But what happened after 5 years? After 5 years of legally be resident in Italy, you can apply for the long-term residency permit, which has no expiring date. And it grants almost the same rights as an Italian citizen, except that you cannot vote. But if you want to become an Italian citizen, there are ways to do that. The first one, and the fastest, if you are able to do that, is the citizenship by descent. This is based on the principle of bloodline. So if you have an ancestor that was Italian, you can apply to become an Italian citizen. This is because for the Italian law, the citizenship passed from parents to child automatically. Beware, because the law just changed in 2025. It's not fully automatic anymore. You need to match some additional requirements. So be sure to check the link in the description of this video. There is just one rule that you need to remember, that if you have a female ancestor, her child must have been born after January 1948. If it's not the case, you need to make a court petition. And for the citizenship, you can apply from the Italian consulate abroad or also from the municipality in Italy. The processing time in these cases is quite long. It can go from 1 to 3 years if you are applying in Italy, or 2 to 5 years if you are applying at the consulate. The second way to get the Italian citizenship is to marry somebody that is Italian, and you become automatically an Italian citizen after 2 years of marriage if you live in Italy, or 3 years of marriage if you live abroad. And these periods are halved if you have children together. Lastly, you have the citizenship by residency. For this application, you need to spend in Italy a certain period. If you are EU resident, it's 4 years. If you are a non-EU resident, it's 10 years, but it can be less in the the cases that you see in this graphic. You can apply through this website. I leave it also in the description. We need to talk also about citizenship by birth or adoption. If you are adopted by an Italian couple, you automatically become Italian. If you are born in Italy from a foreign couple, you don't become automatically Italian, and you need to ask for the citizenship once you are 18 years old. Anyway, you can have dual citizenship because Italy doesn't forbid that, so you can keep the citizenship of your countries as long as your country doesn't forbid the dual citizenship. And at this point, your journey is at the end. You start as a tourist and you become an Italian citizen. If you need help to buy or manage or invest in real estate property in Italy, feel free to contact me. You find everything in the description below. See you in the next video. Bye.